On March 27th, we the people of the United States do take this opportunity to declare that we as rightful citizens and human beings, we reclaim our Constitution and Bill of Rights and redeclare ourselves the ultimate masters of our God-given lives, our bodies, our minds, our free will, and our country, as well as our government at all levels, and redeclare ourselves masters of the public servants therein who indeed serve us. We do reiterate the fact that we have an inalienable right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, which cannot be taken from us by any legalistic sleight of hand, by any form of authority, civilian or military, domestic or foreign, but only through due process, provided by and enumerated in the founding documents of our nation, i.e., if found publicly proven, we do not consent to be owned or leased or sold as biospecimens or any other misclassification that degrades our human status and our citizenship of a sovereign nation. We deny any authority which claims the right to reclassify us as serfs or chattel of any kind, based on any legalics, trickery, refuse, lie. We demand full protection under the law, and we demand that proper authorities exercise their duties and oaths to the best of their abilities to protect each human being in their jurisdiction and cease picking and choosing who will be afforded due process and who will not, based on a secret federal government tier system, illegitimately gagging some citizens more and some less worthy of protection of their God-given rights based on secret illegitimate criteria. We assert the obvious that when any person is under potential lethal attack by any entity or person that circumvents or ignores due process, that we have the right to request or even demand that the proper authorities step in to protect, investigate, and authenticate, however necessary, without excuses, the evidence we have regarding the activity we find endangers us or is indicative of an intent to harm us by one or by many, regardless of their status as civilian or even government officials, since crimes can and are committed under the color of law at times. Government officials are bound to the Constitution like everyone else and are not above the law. We also demand that such an attempt to harm us be treated as the crime that it is and fully and vigorously prosecuted. We demand that authorities who attempt to wave off the facts we report as nonsense or mental illness merely because they themselves have not the experience, intellect, or imagination to conceive of the existence of highly sophisticated and highly organized crime, nor the will or courage to do their due diligence be revealed of their or be relieved of their position for putting personal convenience and arrogant ignorance before the safety of the people they by definition have a duty to protect, and prosecuted for dereliction of duty and obstruction of justice. Be it known to any and all authorities that if they choose to ignore repeated pleas for protection, repeated attempts to educate them to a new type of criminality such as organized mercenary stalking, torture, and assassination methodology, such as using sophisticated electronic weaponry now recognized and banned in Michigan and Massachusetts. Non-consensual implanted medical chips or poisons, gas, nano and Morgellons weapons of war delivery systems that they will personally be held liable as knowingly facilitating human trafficking crimes against humanity and war crimes and conspiring to deny constitutional, civil, and humane rights to innocent civilians in light of our repeated attempts to file police reports that are either ignored or rejected, and in the face of this unconscionable, gross negligence and deprived indifference by those whose responsibility it is to protect human life, we declare that it is not our duty as citizens to allow ourselves to be murdered for any reason, much less for the sake of their ignorance or convenience. The most essential, undeniable right in the world is the right of self-defense. We reject the perverted notion that self-defense as a last resort is a crime, though it is not an action taken lightly. When the choice comes down to depending on a proven, undependable, unresponsive, biased, if not knowingly complicit chain of authority to protect us, be it from the president down to the local police, when it has been shown by our repeated unsuccessful attempts to have them simply do their jobs, to likely mean our own sure death. If we continue to hope against and hope that they will respond proper or to the choice of exercising the basic right to defend ourselves, even if it includes destruction of property, housing the weapons in question, or the weapons themselves, up to and including lethal force, be it known that we claim that right of self-defense by any means needed, based on the concept of legal necessity, which is the committing of a lesser crime as a last resort in order to prevent a much more serious one. And we consider the taking of a human life in order to prevent that person from the premeditated taking of ours for no reason other than profit, to be a lesser crime. Any and all authorities that have been shown to have shirked their duties or belittled, insulted, slandered, or attempted to brand those of us targeted for gratuitous community abuse and endangerment as crazy, based on no serious investigation and no grounds whatsoever, and their knee-jerk of their duties by claiming medical knowledge, prowess, or training which they simply do not have, or merely from their own lack of intellect and initiative do hereby automatically forfeit their right to prosecute in any way, shape, or form any citizen they have knowingly and willingly left in mortal danger for more than a reasonable reaction time, because they have arbitrarily withheld equal protection under the law, ignored evidence, or dismissed the opportunity to investigate or engage experts, and have thereby gratuitously chosen to gamble with someone else's life. They will, as an entity and to a person, be held liable for criminal conspiracy to endanger and conspiracy to withhold constitutional rights. And we demand that they lose their jobs and freedom with no bail possible until the case for their willful and complicit negligence is fully educated. We also demand that their assets be frozen and seized as human trafficking as well. We demand immunity for all actions of legal necessity by those who have pleaded in vain for proper help against covert, high-tech weaponry fully meant to kill them and have been thrown to the wolves to suffer severe psychological abuse and unimaginable 24/7 physical torture with inevitable health damage for months and years beyond that which people have ever encountered or experienced before in the course of history. We reject yet another attempt by a rogue government to call innocent people from society for abuse and eradication based on, but rather for pure venal reasons, restore our rights now. Those who make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable. Inevitable, yeah. John F. Kennedy. Being denied their rights, conspiracy to scapegoat them, and thereby deprive them of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is fully underway throughout a society now degraded and rotting from within, contrary to all concepts and precepts. Well-known defense contractors, private security firms, big pharma, certain universities, medical companies, and laboratories, billion-dollar bullies and human traffickers who have bought undue favor at our expense from our representatives and have utterly infiltrated our federal government and our military to pervert them into doing their bidding again at our expense. Kickbacks and at the expense